On a cold October morning, just before dawn, Ayan sat in his parked car outside a closed-down cafe he once dreamed would be his empire. 3 years ago, he had taken a loan, quit his stable job, and poured his soul into this place. Today, the final notice from the bank fluttered on the glass door like a cruel reminder. The dream was over. He hadn't told his wife yet. She thought everything was tight but manageable. He couldn't even afford his daughter's school fees next month, and still, he sat there, eyes wide open, heart numb. How did it come to this? He whispered. He had worked harder than ever. Put in 14-hour days, skipped holidays, burned the candle at both ends. And yet, he failed, just like 99% of people who try. Ayan wasn't lazy. He wasn't stupid. He wasn't careless, but he was wrong, not in his effort, in his mindset. He had copied every motivational guru he saw on YouTube. He followed every hustle page on Instagram. He drowned himself in the noise of productivity, but never paused to ask, am I thinking like the people who actually succeed? The answer was no, and it took him hitting rock bottom to realize that. Later that day, Ayan went to a different cafe, not his own, just to breathe. There, he noticed an old man in a charcoal suit, sitting calmly with a leather notebook and a small espresso. Not on his phone, not in a rush, just thinking. After 30 minutes of silence, the man looked up and said, "Failure leaves a mark. You're wearing yours." Ayan was stunned. "Excuse me?" The man smiled, not mockingly, but with recognition. "I've seen that look in the mirror a long time ago." He gestured to the seat across from him. "You want to know why most people fail in business? Quiet, private, unknown to social media fame, but respected in the elite circles of business." They sat for hours. The man's name was Mr. Rayan Shah, a billionaire investor and founder of 12 companies across 8 countries. Rayan didn't offer sympathy. He offered Ayan something better, and I'll show you how the 1% think, act, and build. But only if you're willing to let go of everything you think you know about success. If you're ready to hear the truth, not the motivational fluff, I'll tell you why 99% fail. Ayan said yes, a shortcut. A trick. Rayan leaned in and said, "Most people start with goals. The 1% start with identity." Ayan looked confused. Rayan continued, "You tried to run a business, but you never became a businessman. People treat business like a side hustle, but business is a reflection of your deepest beliefs about money, risk, power, and failure. And 99% of people don't realize your business grows only as fast as your mind does." "You think competition, economy, or luck is why you failed," Rayan said. "No, you failed because your subconscious believes you don't deserve more." Ayan was silent. "Every time you tried to raise prices, you hesitated. Every time you had a chance to pitch your brand boldly, you played it safe. Every time a problem hit, you panicked and reacted emotionally." Rayan's voice sharpened. "Business is war, and most people walk into battle with self-doubt, fear of rejection, and no mental armor. That's why they lose." Rayan pulled out a worn-out leather notebook. Inside were 3 names, lost everything, slept in car. Now owns 3 tech firms. SCMK, fired from 5 jobs. Turned mindset into millions. JR, failed 4 startups. Built 5th using pain as fuel. "These aren't stories," Rayan said. "They're mental blueprints." He flipped to a page titled, "Rules of the 1%. The 1% turn it into power. Rule number 1, pain is currency. The 99% run from pain. You think pain is punishment, but it's tuition. Rule number 2, identity greater than hustle. The question isn't what you do. It's who you become. Rule number 3, learn to think, not just work. If you can't sit alone with your thoughts for 60 minutes, you shouldn't run a business. Rule number 4, Your business is a mirror. Every problem in your business reflects a problem in your thinking. You don't fix the sales process. You fix the self-worth issue behind the sales. Ayan felt angry. So you're saying it's all my fault? Rayan didn't blink. Responsibility is power. If it's someone else's fault, you're powerless. If it's yours, you can change it. Before leaving, Rayan gave Ayan a challenge. If you pass, come back. I'll teach you the rest. Sit alone. No music. No distractions. Write down every belief you hold about money. You want to rebuild? Start by proving you can command yourself before you try to command a business. He handed Ayan a card that said, pitch them, no excuses. The 3-day forge, day 1, no social media, no distractions. Day 2, make a list of every fear stopping you from making bold business decisions. Day 3, reach out to someone you're afraid to pitch. Do this. That night, Ayan turned off his phone. For the first time in years, he sat in silence and wrote down his true beliefs. I'm not smart enough to be rich. People like me don't get opportunities. If I charge too much, they'll leave. Nervous, sweating, ready to turn back. Failure means I'm not good enough. By midnight, he was crying. Not because of what he'd lost, but because he finally saw what he'd believed all along. Ayan made a list. Fear of rejection. Fear of looking stupid. Fear of success and not being able to keep it. Fear of asking for help. Each fear became a mirror, showing him not what the world was doing to him, but what he was doing to himself. Rayan was there. He had always dreamed of getting his homemade food product into a local supermarket, but never dared. He walked in that morning. Then he remembered Rayan's words. This isn't about the pitch. It's about proving to your mind that you belong in the arena. He walked up to the manager and pitched. She didn't say yes. She didn't say no either. She said, interesting. Come back next week with samples and packaging. And for the first time in months, Ayan smiled. 3 days later, he walked into the same cafe. He looked at Ayan and nodded. Good. Now you're ready for the forge. The cafe felt different this time. Ayan wasn't the same man who walked in a few days ago, broken, bitter, and full of excuses. He had felt the sting of silence, faced the mirror of his own fears, pitched his dream despite the shaking hands. Rayan Shah sat at his usual table. No words at first. Just a nod, the kind men give each other when war is behind and growth lies ahead. So, Rayan said, you walked into fire and didn't run. Ayan took a deep breath. I didn't burn, I forged. Rayan smiled. Now you're ready. That day marked the beginning of phase 2. Not in a boardroom, not in an office, but in a dusty little back room Ayan rented with the last of his savings. No investors, no applause. Just grit paper and a mind reborn. But they weren't about ads, products, or sales funnels. Not yet. Rayan laid out the next steps. Business is not built with tactics, he said. It's built with structure of thought. Rayan called it the mental OS operating system of the 1%. The elite seek it, even when it hurts. And it had 5 foundational pillars. Pillar 1, obsession with truth. The average mind avoids truth. Ayan learned to confront hard questions. Is my product really good? Would I buy from myself? You build it by systems. Do I want success or just comfort dressed as ambition? Pillar 2, thinking in systems, not emotions. You don't build scalable business by passion. Ayan mapped how leads come in, how decisions are made, how bottlenecks form. He realized business isn't chaotic. It only feels chaotic when you don't think in structures. They chase data. They track boring KPIs. They read numbers instead of headlines. Pillar 3, mastery of boredom. 99% fail because they quit when success gets boring. Rayan explained, the greats don't chase dopamine, so Ayan built routines, track inventory. Review costs, read 1 case study per day. No excitement, just compounding clarity. Pillar 4, brutal self-accountability, no blaming markets, no bad timing, no luck stories. Everything in your business is a reflection of you, Ryan repeated. When a supplier delayed, Ayan asked himself, did I choose the right partner? When marketing failed, he asked, did I understand my audience? No excuses, only root cause analysis. Pillar 5, playing long games. Average people chase months. Billionaires build for decades, then two, then a restaurant, then a distributor. Ayan stopped looking for viral growth. Instead, he asked, if I stay consistent for 5 years, what becomes possible? He began building his business like a slow-burning fire, not a spark. 6 months passed. His new venture, a small line of organic sauces, began to gain traction. Slowly, quietly, no viral post, no overnight success. Just one supermarket. And beneath the surface, a man was transforming. He didn't fear rejection anymore. He didn't rush for likes or follows. He had become uncheckable. Not because life got easier, but because he got harder to break. But just as growth began, so did the whispers of doubt. A shipment was delayed. A major client ghosted him. Sales flatlined for 3 weeks. The old thoughts returned. What if it all falls apart again? What if I was lucky? What if I'm still not enough? Ayan almost didn't show up for the weekly meeting with Rayan, but he went. Rayan saw it in his eyes immediately. You think the billionaire mindset means never doubting again? Ayan didn't answer. Rayan leaned forward. No, it means moving forward despite doubt. It means knowing that your fears are your shadow. They follow, but they don't lead. Even I doubt, he said, but I don't let that voice drive the car. He paused, then said, you've learned enough. Now it's time you teach. Rayan introduced Ayan at a private roundtable, a group of young entrepreneurs, each one stuck at a different phase of failure. Ayan shared his story, not as a millionaire, not yet, but as someone in the fire. He told them, don't chase freedom without first earning it in your mind. Don't build a brand to impress others. Build one that represents your truth. And never mistake movement for progress. That night, as he walked home, Ayan passed his old cafe, now under a new name. He didn't flinch. He didn't feel shame. He just whispered, thank you. Because failure was no longer his enemy, it was his foundation. Ayan's business crossed its first million in revenue. He now employed 12 people, each one paid on time. He was mentoring 3 young founders. He still did his morning mindset routines. He had no viral fame, no luxury cars, but he had peace, power, and purpose. And as he looked in the mirror one morning before a pitch to a major chain, he smiled and said to himself, you are the business. And now you're forged. Music rises triumphantly. This is the mindset of the 1%, not luck, not hacks, not hype, but forged fire, built slow, hammered with truth, and sharpened by discipline. Welcome to the forge. Now build your legacy.